Welcome to the Remote Coder ICD-10 3M Encoder coding tutorial. Today we will use a very simple scenario, which is extremely common in pediatrics. A child comes to the hospital with a cough that will not resolve. We'll use cough, that symptom, as our admit diagnosis. So go ahead and type in cough. Select number 1 for cough. Now, as there's no further details given, go ahead and select A, Other/Unspecified. The encoder has selected R05 as the diagnosis for cough. Hit Add Diagnosis, and now we will enter our primary diagnosis. After investigating the issue, the physician documents the primary diagnosis as Croup. This is a very common respiratory infection in young children in which their breathing is blocked and it causes them to have a very distinctive barking sounding cough. Let's go ahead and type in Croup. You can now select the second option for Croup. You can do this on your keyboard or with your cursor. The physician has not documented any additional information, so we will again select number 6, Other Unspecified. There is no documentation as to a cause of this episode of Croup, whether it's bacterial or viral, so we'll select 1, Do Not Wish to Code, or Already Coded. You'll notice this option, Respiratory Condition with, screen will repeat, and you have a number of choices that can commonly go along with a respiratory diagnosis. Most often, you will use number 3, Exposure to Environmental Tobacco Smoke. But let's say we select number 1, Do Not Wish to Code or Already Coded. No procedures were performed, so select 1, No Procedure, or Already Coded. The encoder has selected code J050 for acute obstructive laryngitis, also known as Croup. Select Add Diagnosis. In this instance, we actually have no additional diagnosis, so go ahead and hit Continue. You'll see down here the admit diagnosis of cough and the final diagnosis as the Croup. And at the top you'll see various messages and edits that can help you to ensure your coding is complete and accurate before submitting. Now, we already established that we have no information about the infectious agent that caused this instance of Croup, so we cannot do anything about this edit to add an additional code. However, here's the other reminder about using an additional code to identify tobacco use, dependence, history of dependence, or exposure to tobacco smoke. Examine the medical record and see if the doctor mentions that relatives or caregivers smoke tobacco and expose the patient to tobacco smoke. It is very common, and in those instances you will add the code Z7722. And you'll sequence that after the Croup, as the Croup diagnosis is the primary diagnosis, and we want it to have the primary place in the encoder. And it's as simple as that. You've coded Croup using the 3M encoder. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you have found it helpful, and please stay tuned for additional ICD-10 and CPT coding tutorials using the 3M encoder. Tutorials will range from very simple and basic examples such as today's to more complicated surgeries and procedures with more detailed documentation. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Happy coding!